All right, there we go. Testing the mic looks good. There we go. All right, so now I'm on ibgib.com. I'm already on one of my YouTube content projects. And here we're just going, I've added editing in the minigame stuff. So for one thing, we're going to create a new project. I could have just done it there. Spanish. Some change in. So I copied that. All right, so now normally, well, first, we're in the yellow or sort of green color. Spanish has this sort of green color associated with it. It's sort of similar to the YouTube one, but a little more green. The first thing I always do is just say hi. I hit Control Enter to send it. It's the same thing as this. Isabel. So normally I would have Isabel create the minigame for this, but we're just going to do it manually since I just added that. No puppies. So minigame for the active tab. We'll just call it change endless. Right, so we haven't added any stimuli. Thought I fixed that, but maybe not. So I'll just show you for the first line how to manually add it. So we already manually created the minigame here. That's new. It's not playable. You can go down here and say add. I meant to add one that says add multiple lines, but I haven't done that yet. So here's the first line. And so here we could delete this, we can edit it. Ah, that's what I fixed on editing. I need to add that canceled. So here, I'm just going to go over here real quick. Okay, sweetie. Uh-oh, the mailman's here. Mail person. Ah, I still have it. It doesn't update the left when a new project is created. So before going over there, because we should have a Spanish project. There it is. So before going over there, and then this will turn into a V once this hits a V, V4. Now I know that was saved. Okay. So here, I'm going to ask Isabel. I'm going to make it easy on her. I need to add something there to make it easier to copy. Let's see if that's too much for Isabel. Could be, but you never know. Sometimes they can do more than you think. See, if you read over here, every time this gets updated, this does update the version. The end product's probably not going to have that, but that V part. Oh, let's see what she did. So she did the first. So now we're at the V11, V12. So now you get to see she's doing them one at a time. Instead of doing a lot, she's doing them piecemeal. So if I would have just had her created from the beginning, it probably would have gone better. I think that's what it... El cariño que te tengo, yo no te lo. Ah, see, no te lo. It's not no, yo no, because that's later. I can't refute it to you. No te lo puedo. Okay, so I just told her to do them all at once, and she readied it up. So now, de altos. You know, let me change with my keyboard real quick. That one. So here, so this is what I'll do, because that's a lot of repetition in the song. That's how it repeats. But we'll just go back here to the stimuli, and now we can delete these. I just hit enter. Now a nicer interface would be able to select multiple ones, obviously, and delete them all at once. I'm going to delete this one. Oh, I'll go edit this one because Alto Cedro is a city in Cuba, right? So that should be Alto Cedro. That's probably a whitewashing thing with the lyrics people. Also, same thing here. Take out the thing, the comma. So this is all just repetition at the end. I'll leave two of them here. We'll take out the comma. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we'll delete these from here. Now every time you edit it, it makes it playable as false because it has to verify that it's correct. Something they'll probably correct later. Ollie, not right now, sweetie. That's Ollie the puppy. Oh, we'll be done here in 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Okay, so now that's ready. Although that has a no. Yeah, I can do that. No te lo puedo negar. Se me sale. So it's not doing checking. Like you saw, I had that wrong. It didn't capitalize it. Marcenian. No, I have to see they're sifting sand. Almost. Quiero. Y así. Where to go? Right. So interactions is the number of flashcards basically, and then it has some breakdown. This is just raw stuff right now. I need to fix all this to where it looks nice. That's interesting to know. Present progressive. I need to add more Spanish rules. But this is showing you how many gerunds are there, and actually it's cuando is not a gerund, so that should be an exception. Puppies hear me talking, they want to play now. Anyway, so that's creating and editing a mini game. Also, we got the AI agent to go ahead and do it for real for us to, do more at once. And that's it for that part. There's one more thing. What else did I want to show you? I think that's it. I was just going to do some more, but the puppies are getting restless. So I'm going to I'm going to go play with the puppies, and I'm going to do some more mini games. I was going to do Volare because I'm trying to practice. I know what all the words mean, and I know most of the song, but there's a second section that I don't know. And that's how you make, learning a language fun. So Chan Chan is like a very famous Cuban song. It's by Buena Vista Social Club. Fabulous song. In fact, so much of what they did, fabulous. They recently had an NPR Tiny Desk concert. Probably the best Tiny Desk concert I've seen. So Buena Vista Social Club did. Just amazing music. Anyway, so that's it. There we go. All right. Like and subscribe if you want updates on this. I'm still looking for people to collaborate on the collaboration part. So part of the what ibgib does, like this kind of stuff, you get to see like sort of a use case on top of it. But under the hood, all of this stuff, this is doing very fancy Merkle-DAG stuff, and it's more like Git. So Git's a huge, it's the most popular software in the world, but it's right now it has technical debt for the future of agentic programming. So the future of agentic programming is Git for all the stuff. Agents will be doing their own little repos and mini repos, and so each one of these things right here is like a repo. If you look at the so if we go back to, we were on Spanish, right? So if we look at the Spanish project itself, it has this past right here. In this past, so this is all technical now. So if you're not technical, then sign off. Thank you. Thank you for watching. What is it now? 20 minutes. But if you are technical, this past, there are two special relations. This thing creates what's called a hypergraph, or some people call it a Merkle forest. And there's two special ones. Well, there's multiple special ones. These first four are special. DNA, if you know anything about event sourcing, DNA, these are like the events that created this. So they're sort of like, the initial one's going to be a fork. Oh, that's an interesting color. So here's the fork. This is basically a memoized version of the options to create that ibgib. So we actually forked a comment gib, and we gave it this destination ib. That's part of the address. But anyway, so those DNA, go back to here. Those are like event sourcing. But for like blockchain type stuff, past, these are pointers to the previous quote unquote blocks. But if you think of a blockchain is like a history of, it's like a timeline. They only have a specific use case for transactions, right? Guaranteeing transactions is their immediate use case. But really, more generally, what it's doing is creating a timeline. And you can think of Git, the way Git works internally is it's also doing this. It's creating a DAG. It's not a hypergraph, but it's a graph. Actually, with its tree structure, it may also be a hypergraph. I'm not. No, it only has one relationship, and that is hierarchy. So it sort of like contains. So it's basically like a folder. But these, we have multiple named edges, named links. And the past is what the blockchain has for the previous block. But you can think of really there's two different strategies you can have for it, depending on what kind of dynamics you want. And for us, a lot of the time, what we want is just to accrue more and more past. So the larger this gets, the more expensive it is in terms of storage, but the less expensive it is in terms of lookup, right? So I can go to the third one, without having to walk the blockchain. I can just go directly to the third one. So, so that's at the protocol level. Those are options that you can set. But so all of this stuff, this creates using Merkle links. They're actually fancy Merkle links. If you noticed in these past, it has project Spanish, and then this little caret symbol, and then it has this long text. And what that actually is, I just copied it. So that only has one. This is a hash. I think it's SHA-256 right now. But this one right here, the second one, that has two hashes, right? And if you notice, the second hash is the same as the first hash. If we go to the third one, guess what? That second hash is going to be the same as the first one. BDD21, blah, blah, blah. BDD21, blah, blah, blah. And so an ibgib address starts off with the ib, which is metadata. So this is project Spanish. So we just have that as our use case. Use case is for a project in this web app. So the ib, we have two things for the use case. We could have other things like a timestamp or other authentication header there, or whatever. The important part to know is that, you know, it's costing you more in terms of storage, but less in terms of full lookups. So once we validate the entire graph, we no longer need to look up this entire record to know that this is a project, and its safe shortened name is called Spanish. But so that's the first part of our Merkle address. The second part is a very fancy, is the normal Merkle link address. So when you have a wallet, normally you just have a hash, and they say this is your wallet's address. But you know, we're going to start having trillions of these, to where even where it's a lower collision right now, it's just like back in the day when they used to think 1 kilobyte of RAM. Who's going to use 1 kilobyte of RAM? When now we use 1 kilobyte for just part of a text document. You know, that's nothing. And so we're going to start getting collisions when you have an Internet of Things of trillions and quadrillions of packets that have addresses. You're going to have collisions. So one of the things that the IB does, besides making it human readable, human or agent readable, this part, but it reduces that collision space, accidental collision space. And then this reduces it even further. So we can think of this hash as being the timeline's hash. We actually think of the full address as being the timeline's full address. And that's what this TJP is, temporal junction point, which is from Back to the Future 2. Could put in the comments if you know what that is, temporal junction point. But for us, it's kind of like our timeline's birthday. It's the pointer to the first part of it. At some point, we'll use it for checkpointing, like in event sourcing, checkpointing. But so, my whole point for this whole thing is that this whole construct provides a unique approach to Merkle links, and the overall effect is that we've created a superset of the GET protocol. So we've implemented the foundations for basically subsuming or eating all of Git and GitHub, because now we can have this metadata also attached. So we can have our issue tracker, instead of right now, the way it works is you have your Git protocol versioning only your source code, and then you go to GitHub. If you're like 85% of the people on the planet, you go to GitHub and you use their own out-of-band, not stored in Git issue tracking, and you start down this road of this Git ops that no longer is using the version control. So now you're exploding your surface area for what's required for versioning your, not only your source code, but also your derivative data, including your agents and your agents' prompts and your chat histories and all of these things. It's just going to explode. The complexity is exploding, and this protocol simplifies it to where you can help, you know, you can't remove complexity overall, a minimum level of complexity, but you can simplify this process of versioning to where you provide the dynamics, just like Git. And people try to shove things into Git because it's so awesome. And that's because it's providing a timeline dynamics to basically arbitrary data, right? It doesn't matter what language, whether you're using you know, Golang or TypeScript or JavaScript or Rust. It doesn't matter using COBOL. It doesn't matter using human English in text documents. Git gives you a language agnostic timeline dynamics. And that's why people try to shove stuff into it. But the surrounding architecture just explodes in complexity. But so we can help normalize that by providing this more normalized approach to timeline dynamics. So if you are interested in helping me dog food the collaboration part, the Git part, I already have a start on it. It's just I don't personally have, I don't collaborate just with myself. I'm doing some with replication, which is not the same as merging. But yeah, so that's the technical side of it. If you're good with protocol level things, if you're an advanced programmer, if you understand some of these things, then I'd love to hear from you. So, and you can do that. We go over here to the contact. Oh, so there you go. You can email ibgib.info@gmail. I have ibgib@ibgib.com, but I have no money, so I can't. I'm not going to run my own email server because that's a huge energy focus drain. But so ibgib.info@gmail, or just go to ibgib.com and then go to contact, and then click on this. All right, and that's it. So 30 minutes, there we go. Like and subscribe and all that YouTube stuff that's going to get better once we get to this new paradigm for collaboration. Because, how do they do versioning on YouTube videos right now? They don't. It's terrible. Okay. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.